the lobby yet?
He's,
Oh, he is. Okay, never mind. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I always forget that he has TTV in front of his names. So just look for D and never see the letter D. So are we starting? Or alright. Well, welcome guys to round 8 of 10 in the Carbon Racing League. This is Tier 1. And our championship leader in the Renault TTV/Doggy Falcons has a 51-point lead over second place in the championship, Tapis. So if Doggy Falcons has a good result today, he will be crowned champion after this race. So he doesn't even need to do the final 2 races, and he will be champion already. But this is Suzuka. It's not one of the, I would say it's arguably one of the hardest circuits to overtake on. So this qualifying session is probably a lot more important compared to other races on the calendar. Genji, who do you think is going to be on pole today? Do you have any predictions?
No real predictions. I guess he will win his racecraft is really unbelievable. But
oh yeah,
I can imagine maybe Vertex. He did a very good lap in time trial.
Oh, interesting.
Also, Tom also a very good lap, but you never can know.
Okay. Yeah, Tom is 4th in the championship. Vertex is 6th in the championship. There's only a 16-point gap between 2nd and 7th in the championship. So the fight for 2nd in the championship is definitely not going to be over probably until the final race of the season. But I'm on board with Tapis right now as he's about to start his flying lap. And this Suzuka circuit is very technical in the first sector. Now into the S section. Oh, slightly wide coming out of turn 3, using too much of the inside curve maybe for the Williams driver. As he rounds off the S section, it's not the best entry of turn 7 either. Now into the 2 Dagners. Lines it up, coming out of Dagner 2, using literally no curb on the axis, so not really aggressive on his first lap. Tapis 2nd place in the championship, now coming out of the hairpin. And into spoon curb we go then. Understeering wide, that's the nature of the spoon corner. As Irving CRT has gone fastest with a 126.365. Tapis, meanwhile, has backed off because that lap was a bit of a mess. Not the best, I wouldn't say. Tuptus is about to cross the line to take provisional P1 with a 25.9. Brisbane comes around to take P3 for now with Marvin behind him. So, Tom is also on his first flying lap of the day. He also uses a very interesting line through Spoon Corner as Vertex goes P1 with a 25.8, almost 2/10 up in front of Tuptus, who is 7th in the championship, only 1 point behind Vertex. And they all have a chance of P2 in the championship as JST comes around and takes P1 for now, and Tom only goes P4, so potentially not an ideal first lap for the AlphaTauri driver either. As Kimmler goes P6. I believe he was in the Tier 2 race before, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yes.
Okay, so he decided to do 2 races in a row, which could be a little bit physically challenging.
Yeah, but maybe it's also a good practice for T1.
Yep, definitely. So here comes John then. He only did one race so far in this league, but he got P5 in Silverstone, the last race basically, last Saturday, as he is about to start his first flying lap of the day. So he's only 13th in the championship, but that's only because he did only one race. That's why he only has 10 points, but he definitely has bags of pace under him. Very smooth through turns 3 and 4. Little bit of touch on the inside curb of turn 5. You can touch that a little bit, but not too much. That's a very good exit coming out of turn 7, using all the track available. Now into the two Dagnus. On the apex of the second one. Ooh, has he invalidated?
Yeah,
I think he has. Yep. He's gone too wide with a little bit of a correction on the exit of Dagna 2. And that is his lap. Daniel dusted. Kriko, meanwhile, is, I think, on his first flying lap. He gets caught on the curb and almost spins. Oh, that's a really messy exit coming out of the spoon curb. So, not an ideal lap for the Ferrari driver either. So, after a third of the qualifiers done, it's the AlphaTauri of JST that's currently on pole position with a 125.7. Verdex in second place ahead of Tuptus, Leo, Tom, Irving, Kimmler, Swifty, J, Shears, and Renzo. That's the top 10. Creek only goes P13. That is a terrible lap because he made a lot of mistakes. So John has decided to go for another lap on the same set of tires. So this will be the third lap on the same set of tires. So that's an interesting strategy as he already goes very wide into turn 1. So this lap is probably ruined already as well. So the Mercedes driver is struggling here. By the look of things.
That's kind of interesting with another lap. This track is... It's a high tire here, so... Could be a mistake from him.
You can go soft to medium or medium to soft, but you don't really want to start on very old soft tires. But I believe he thinks he can do a better lap on the next set of tires anyway. So he's just trying to set a lap time, at least, no matter how slow or fast it is.
Yeah.
But our two championship leaders, well, one is 51 points ahead of the other. Doggy Falcons and Tabias are both on out laps, and they are the two remaining guys that haven't done a lap time apart from John, who is currently on one. Will he pit or will he try to complete this lap, which had a terrible turn 1, but the rest of the laps looks quite steady as he comes into turn 16 and 17, the final chicane. And coming out of the final corner, he is going to cross the line, you know. Where will this lap put him? It's P7, so despite on 3 lap old softs, he still gets into the top 10.
Yeah, I don't know if it was worth it to do another lap on this compound, but...
Yeah, if he thinks he has enough time to come back for 2 more fresh laps, then it's fine. I'm just worried about the time a little bit, as Tuptus, I think, is on a flying lap, and it's getting blocked by Shears there. Ooh, Shears gets out of the way just about in time, but that affects Tuptus lying Sector 1, because Sector 1 is basically only one line in qualifying. Kind of traffic can be very visually blocking as Tuptus goes purple in Sector 1 actually, so that didn't really cost the Mercedes driver any time. So this is a full push from the Mercedes driver, but he's got another traffic in front of him, that is Swifty J in P9. Will the Alfa Romeo driver get out of the way before the spoon curb? I think he knows it. Yes, he is. He's getting out of the way cleanly. Oh, a lot of inside curb from Tuptus, but that's a great apex speed from the Mercedes driver. Using the shortest track, the shortest length of the track possible. And he goes purple again in the second sector. He's 3/10 up on his personal best, but he's got traffic. And Tom gets out of the way as well. So far, very clean and no blocking at all. Irving and John have both retired from the session. And Tuptus decides to... Oh my goodness, they've crashed on the start-finish straight as Swifty J goes in between the two of them. So there has been a massive crash on the start-finish straight. And I have no idea what happened. Tapis is and Kriko gets a disqualification for blocking the pit lane. As Marvin has also retired, Tapis only goes P12. This is chaotic in Suzuka. And Doggy Falcon is about to cross the line to go only P7. What is going on?
Oh, that's kind of disappointing for him. I guess he expected more from this race, but
yeah.
Maybe this wasn't.
But in the last minute, a lot has happened. Irving and John crashed on the pit entry or alongside pit entry on the start finish straight, and then Tuptus, because seeing them on the crashing on the main straight, so Tuptus decides to back out of his pole lap basically if he decides to complete it. But he saw the two cars there and he decided to just back up because if he went through it, he might have crashed out himself. And then Doggy Falcons only went P8, Tapis only went P14. So JSD has improved actually to go provisionally P1. He's improved on his pole lap time. And I think Brizzen has improved to P7. Render has gone up to P5. So we have seen some form of improvements from a few drivers. But it's really confusing, all of this. And Kriko also got disqualified for blocking the pit lane. So I have absolutely no idea what just happened. It's still very baffling to me.
They wrote in the chat what happened. John crashed and his KI went backwards, and Irvin just went into him.
But how did they end up on the outside the pit lane then? So basically John's crashed into the pit wall when he was trying to pit, and the car rebounded off onto the track, I guess is what happened. And in the process, Irving couldn't avoid him. But that is quite shocking. I have no idea because I wasn't on board of either of them. I was on board with Stuptus and just seeing two cars literally sideways and crashed out in front of him. Leo could go pole here. It's a really good second sector. He's coming out of the final corner. The McLaren driver has done a 125.5, and that is pole for now.
Very good lap.
Yep. So Tuptus is on another flying lap. Can he go pole again? Because he had potential for pole. He's gone wide this time, really wide in turn 5. So this is probably not as good of a first sector as the previous one. Yep, he's only and he's cut, so he's invalidated. And Kimmler goes P3. Wow. Is he a regular tier 2 driver or is he a regular tier 1 driver?
He's a regular tier 2 driver. So
I mean, but he's P3 now, so a promotion for the next season maybe?
Maybe. Yeah, the problem that he had is that he crashed a lot in his first races, so he couldn't see his real pace. But
so okay, so
better than we expected.
Yeah, so race consistency might be the problem for the house driver, but he's got terrific single lap pace at least here in Suzuka. And Verdex is improving right now. He could take P3 away from Kimmler if he has a good final sector, which is only 4 corners, the 130R, the chicane, and the final corner, which really isn't a corner, because you're going full throttle, coming out of the chicane, and Verdex almost lost it. But he comes across line to go P2, actually. It's a really good final sector. So he has displaced JSD by 11 thousandths of a second. So the racing point is up to second. And I think that's Rapente, who just went across the line to take P7 away from Sweep DJ. So we only have actually 14 drivers on track in the next 3.5 minutes because 3 of them have retired and 1 of them have been disqualified. This is a bizarre situation in Suzuka.
So
nobody is on a flying lap, I don't think. Everyone's just in the pits.
Everyone's in the pits.
Yeah, waiting for the track evolution to come in, because if you set the lap time as late as possible, that's when the track is the most rubbered in and when the track is the fastest. I think Tom will be on a flying lap quite soon. He's on the end of his out lap, but he still has spoon curb and the final sector to go. So we will still have to wait a little bit until our next flying lap comes around, but it is Leo who's currently ace in the championship, only 24 points behind Tapis in second place in the championship. So it is really close, apart from Doggy Falcons, who is literally dominating. But he's currently P11. Does he want to start on mediums, maybe?
Yeah, could be good strategy. I don't know if there's rain in the race. Maybe he tries to.
Oh yeah, I have no idea either about the weather. That could be a factor as well, because Japan, it can rain a lot.
It is raining a lot.
Yeah. Okay, Tom is on a flying lap. It's a really good turn 1 and 2. He's cut a lot of inside curb of turn 3 though, turn 4 rather. Beg your pardon. Now coming around turn 6 and trying to get a sweeping run through turn 7. That's a lot of understeer in turn 7. But he is improving compared to his personal best sector 1, using a lot of inside curb of Decna 2. Now, coming down into turn 11, the hairpin. He's got a Haas in front of him who gets out of the way. So this is turn 12, which again really isn't a corner. Just a long right-hander into spoon curb, keeping it in 5th gear. Now, accelerating, not using a lot of outside curb either, and sticking to the left of the track. Shortest length again. And he's improved by almost 0.3 of a second, so this could put him into P5 provisionally, but he's got Doggy Falcons in front of him, who's just about starting his flying lap, so he won't disturb Tom, who does go P5 actually, so not a bad effort from the AlphaTauri driver, but still 0.3 behind Leo, and that is the final attempt of Tom, I believe. So who is on a hot lap now? I think JST is on one, but he's 1/10 down after first sector. Tuptus, though, has improved by 1.5 tenths after sector 1. So he could elevate himself into the top 3 if he has a good second sector. Let's see the split time. Yes, he has. He's 3.5 tenths up. Could this challenge pole from Tuptus?
It seems like. But Luigi's also on his flying lap, so maybe he can.
Yep. Tuptus has gone to P4 actually, so he's lost about a tenth in the final sector. That wasn't the best chicane run I've ever seen from him. JSD has cut the corner actually, so he's not going to improve. Doggy Falcons, how is he doing? He's into the spoon curb. He has 4 more corners left until the checker flag. After 2 sectors, he's improved by 0.7 of a second. So this could be a very late pole from Doggy Falcons. He's got 1 more corner to negotiate. And coming around the final corner, Tapis goes P10. Doggy Falcons goes P1.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
What a lap from the Renault driver. He's done it at the desk, and Leo is not improving. So I think he's going to take pole. Doggy Falcons. Renzo goes P8. He's improved, I think, but not improved his position. As Swifty J now comes out to the final corner. Can he improve to move up? Yes, he can. He's improved from P10 to P7. And I think that's everyone. Yeah, Leo has backed off. He's had a shocking first sector. He was 1/10 down when I saw his first sector split time. So Doggy Falcons, the championship leader, has taken pole position on his final lap by 56 thousandths of a second. That's the margin we have. But he is on pole, and he's looking good to secure the championship at the end of this race. Because his best championship rival, Tapis, is starting in P11. The best position in terms of the new tire runners. So maybe, just maybe, if the alternative strategy can work, Tapis will have a chance. However, well, it's not the easiest track to overtake on, so a lot of work for the Williams of Tapis to do. But the second place fight in the championship still involves 7 drivers. I think Tapis is in. I don't think Yen is in the lobby today, but Tom, Swift DJ, Verdex, Tuptus, and Leo, they're all in the lobby. So that is qualifying for Suzuka. It's Doggy Falcons on pole by 56 thousandths of a second over Leo. Verdex and JSD will start on the second row ahead of Tuptus and Kimela. Swifty J and Tom start on the fourth row ahead of Renzo and Rapente. Tapis and Britton, both Williams on the sixth row ahead of Shears and Urban, who had a collision with John, who will start from P15 ahead of Protocol, Marvin and Kriko, who got disqualified for blocking the pit lane for some reason. Maybe he's also crashed on the pit entry. Maybe that's the reason, but I'm not sure because I didn't really see that. Anyway, Genji, do you think Doggy Falcons is just gonna run away with this one?
I guess.
What do you think?
I guess he will win it.
Okay.
The only thing that could stop him is if he will do a mistake, but
Yeah, definitely true.
I know.
Or a safety car, maybe.
Yeah, or safety car. But if the race will be normal, I guess he will win it.
Yeah, but he's only 56,000 ahead of Leo, so the margin is not that big.
Yep.
But will Leo try to fight Doggy Falcons as hard as he should? It's another question because technically they are not in the fight.
Yeah,
but Leo has to. I mean, he has to think about his own championship positions as well, because if he takes P2, that will close the gap between him and the drivers ahead of him in the championship. And oh my goodness, Irvin, how bad is your luck? he's been disqualified from the formation lap.
Oh, that will be really cold tires.
Yeah, so him and Shears have had some form of a collision. I have no idea who is at fault of that one. But after getting caught out by John's crash, Irving has had bad luck again at the start of the race.
Every time Dewey is doing a formation lap, it seems like he's doing a hot lap. No, he's every time he's pulling away on everyone.
Yep, he's always doing that, because I believe that's what he did in the Russian race in another league that I commentated on. And I think that second place Berken at that time was a long way behind him.
Yeah.
But
I don't have the feeling that John can do the same. Like
yeah. It's not the longest run to turn 1. But if Doggy Falcon's tires are that cold, it could affect him. The other thing is, do we actually know whether stopping on the grid for a longer amount of time affect the tire temperature?
Yeah, I guess a little bit.
Because I've never experimented it, so I don't know about that one. Does it actually have any effects?
Yeah,
we don't know.
I guess if you are standing there alone, like 1 minute, it will affect your tires.
Yeah, but I think he's fine. He's only had a 7-8 second gap to Leo behind him.
It works.
So this is round 8 of 10 in the Carbon Racing League Tier 1. This is Suzuka. 5.807 kilometers, 3.6 miles, 18 corners, 8 to the left, 10 to the right, only 1 DRS zone. That's a start-finish straight. Doggy Falcons, our championship leader, will start on pole position with 8th place in the championship, Leo alongside him. Can the Renault driver get a good start and take the championship after this race? With 2 races to go, we are underway here in Suzuka. It's a really good start from Tuptus in 5th place. And Leo is going side by side with Verdex into turn 1. Doggy Falcons has kept his lead, but Leo has gone wide, and JST has moved up from P4 to P2, and he's taken the position away. Meanwhile, Verdex is still going side by side with Tuptus, and Tuptus gets squeezed out, and he gets passed by 3 other drivers. And we have a yellow flag behind them. That's Portugal, who has spun. Tuptus is going side by side now with Randall, who goes around the outside, and Tuptus has touched Randall, and both of them are into the wall. That is shocking for the driver that started from P9 and P5. So that collision between Tuptus and Renzo has meant that both of them will probably have damage and also very hot tires right now on lap 1. And so Doggy Falcons leads from JST, and Verdex is trying to challenge Leo into the spoon curb. But he's not... he's gone wide because of dirty air. That's Verdex going really wide in Leo's dirty air. That's not going to help his course. But he's using all of his overtake. He's trying to go to the inside of 130R against Leo, and Leo left the space. He left the door wide open. So Verdex is up into P3. And Leo, who started P2, has dropped down to P4. So a shocking start from the McLaren driver. And behind him is Tom, who started P8 and now is up to P5. So, invertedly, a really good start from the AlphaTauri driver. As Tuptus pits because he has damage after contact with Renzo. We have a fight for P11. Oh, the 2 guys that had contact on the formation lap right with each other again. That's Shears and Irving. Irving is on the soft tires and Shears is on the medium. So, Irving needs to pass Shears ASAP because otherwise he's not going to have his advantage on the soft tires. And actually, John has made an electrifying start. He's up to 10th after starting from P15 as Irving tries to go around the outside of Shears into Dagna 1, but that's a beautiful cutback. That's a tremendous cutback from Irving. That is beautifully done from the Alfa Romeo driver. And John, meanwhile, has gone around the outside of Brisbane into turn 11. Around the outside of turn 10, I should say, and down the inside into the hairpin of turn 11, and John has moved up by 6 places, and he is also starting on the medium. He's still trying to warm them up.
It seems like
and he's gone wide.
Oof. It seems like that everyone behind P10, except of Irving, started on mediums. So
yeah, it's a really weird strategy for Irving, isn't it? Because normally if you start outside the top 10, you would go the alternative strategy, rather than starting on the traditional soft strategy as Swifty J gets wide through the chicane. If Kimmler can get a good exit, which he doesn't really get a better exit compared to Swifty J, but Tom is really close to Leo. Tom has set the fastest lap over the race with a 130.1, and Irving, I think, is right on the back of Brisbane. Yes, he is trying to go to the inside of Brisbane. I think Brisbane has decided to let Irving go because, the tire compound difference. Irving is on the soft, there's no point holding him up. They're on completely different strategy here, and the Creecom behind them have passed Shears into turn 12, so a swap for the Ferrari team.
yeah, the Ferrari team really needs the points.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They are currently last on the Constructors' Championship with 2 points and 22 points behind Red Bull, so they really need them.
That's a really large gap. The good news for them is the Red Bull only has 1 car today, but both Ferraris are not in the point either, so
yeah.
The struggle looks to be continuing. Irving, meanwhile, is right on the back of John, so the two that clashed at the middle part of the qualifying are on track with each other again. Will Irving be polite to John, or will he try to be aggressive? The top 5 have kept within each other's DRS, but Swifty J won't have it because he's 1.2 seconds behind. But Kimmler is too far behind him to try to challenge. Meanwhile, we have a 3 wide. Oh my goodness. I was caught out by this 3 wide moment because Irving has done a double overtake into turn 1, and that is brilliant for the Alfa Romeo driver. And Rapente on the straight was a sitting duck because he didn't have DRS, and the 2 guys behind him all had the use of DRS. And Irving due to the better soft tire compound, has moved up into P8, but now he's got a 3-second penalty, the first driver to have that strike under his name. So he's made a lot of moves in the early stages of the race. He's made up 6 places, but that penalty is not gonna make him happy. Top 5 though are still in line, but Swifty J is the odd one out. Kimmler, meanwhile, doesn't look that threatening either. Behind Swifty J, in fact, Kimmler has lost it. Oh my goodness, what a save! What a save from the Haas driver. That is top class from Kimmler as Tiptus retires because he's so far back and probably doesn't want to race anymore. So, 7th place in the championship have retired in the session. Because of an early incident with Renzo into turn 7, it was really touch and go because turn 7 is a very understeery corner. But Irving, is it Irving CRT? Or how do you pronounce CRT?
I have absolutely no idea, but I guess it's pronounced CRT.
Okay. I'm just going to call him Irving then, because I'm pretty sure that is called Irving. As Krico goes around the outside of Britain, they're going side by side through turn 2. This is going to be very close. Britain is going to turn. Oh my goodness. Krico is trying to go for the cutback. Oh my gracious. I can't believe they went side by side for 3 quarters straight in sector 1. That was incredible as Shears has lost it in turn 7. No, Kimmler has lost it. This time he couldn't save it. And he's in the wall. And he's retired. So he's give up. So, doing 2 races in a row is clearly very physically challenging. So, 2 retirees, that's Tiptus, who had the incident in lap 1, and then Kimmler, who spun himself out on lap 5. But the pack is still very closed, apart from the gap from P9 to P10, because Krico and Britain went side by side in the first sector. So they've dropped by 3.5 seconds compared to Rapente in P9. How are the top 5 doing? They're still in the train. I don't think anyone is trying to overtake, because if anyone wants to make a move, it has to be JST. But he's not as fast as Doggy Falcons. And the next few drivers, they all have the same DRS and overtake usage of gas. Yeah, they are all on a similar kind of overtake level, apart from Leo, who's actually a lot ahead of the others. He has 85% ERS. Meanwhile, Krico has finally got around the outside of Britain, this time successfully into turn 2, and he's capped P10. But Tapis, does he not like Suzuka? He's really struggling here. He's still in P12. This is a yep. Go ahead, Kenji.
Irvin is doing a good job. He's already made 7 places. John as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Both of them have had good starts, but Irving does already have that penalty under his name. The top 5 are really close. And I think they are holding each other up a little bit because Irving is flying towards the lead pack and he's dragging John with it. This is exactly what John wanted. He wants someone to drag him forward on those medium tires. If John can stay with Irving in the next 5... Oh, Leo has gone wide. Leo has braked too late into the chicane and he's almost went to the back of Verdeck. That means he has a terrible exit coming out of the chicane, but he does have superior overtake usage. He has so much overtake to bear, so he's capped his P4, but Irving has pitted. That's very early.
Maybe he has no wing damage, so I guess he...
Hard. I don't like that. I don't like that strategy.
Tries to undercut, but it seems like way too early for...
Yeah, and also soft to medium is possible. Yeah. That's why I don't like the strategy. If soft to hard is the quicker one, then sure, go ahead. But I think he was 9/10 behind Swifty J, so maybe he thinks he's getting held up. And because this track is so difficult to overtake, so he decided to pit early and give himself a bit of clean air.
Maybe
but
also burnt off his tires. He was really fast.
Yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting, I would say. A very interesting strategy call from the Alfa Romeo driver. Meanwhile, the front five are still with each other. As Swifty J is catching up, these five guys, they are holding each other up because they could definitely go faster. But because they are in this train, the pace is dictated by the leader, Doggy Falcons. Excuse me. Oh no, Leo! Oh my goodness, he almost oversteered and crashed into the pit wall. But he's got so much better straight line speed. There must be setup differences because Tom had such a better exit and also had a bit of slipstream. But when he pulled alongside him, he just went backwards. That was Tom. So I think Leo's setup is more towards straight line, which is why he still kept his fourth place. Meanwhile, Brizard has repassed Creco for P9, which will be P10 effectively because Irving is out of sequence right now. He has already made his mandatory pit stop. Brizard, meanwhile, is on 8% of overtake compared to the front five, who have more than 70% for P3, P4, and P5, but the top two actually. Doggy Falcons only has 40%, and JSD only has 31% ERS.
It seems like
so,
Dewey is struggling
yeah.
a bit.
I think Doggy Falcons is doing his best to keep his lead, but then I think JST, because he's not as fast as Doggy Falcons, he's had to use a lot of overtake to try to keep up with Doggy Falcons. But then Vertex, Leo, and Tom are just there, and they're not using overtake at all. So who's gonna pull the trigger then? Who's gonna pit? Creco is on the back of Britain again because Britain literally has no ERS. They're about to go side by side into the chicane. It is for P9, but it's still very entertaining. Creco turns in, Britain leaves him space. Swifty J has pitted, but Creco made the move too early because Britain will get DRS on the main straight, but he's not using his DRS, at least on my... Yep, he's not using his DRS. Why is he not using his DRS?
It only can be a friendly move. But
oh no! They made contact! They made wheel-to-wheel contact. The Ferrari and the Williams, they're still going side by side. Britain trying to go around the outside of turn 3. What a move from the Williams driver. And despite all of this fighting, Tapis is still behind both of them.
it seems like this is just waiting for crash.
Yeah, but he's dropping so many seconds. Look at how he's about 10 seconds behind John now, who's on the same strategy.
But John is doing an incredible job. Yes.
Yeah, meanwhile, I think, yeah, Swifty J has pitted, right? Yeah, he has pitted.
Yeah.
And he's behind Irving. I have a feeling Irving might go to the lead by the time the frontrunners pit. But the frontrunners will pit for mediums, right?
They will. Maybe some of them will pit for hards, but it makes no sense. Yes,
Yeah, because Swifty J has pitted for hards as well, and I don't really understand. Actually, they are very close to top 5. Is anyone going to pull into the pits this time? Yes, JSD has pitted. But Tom is right on the back of Leo. Here we go again, but Leo just pulls away.
He's just so much faster.
Yeah, the setup difference is frustrating for Tom. But JSD has pitted for mediums. Is that a bit too early? He's gonna do 80. Creco has passed Britain again. These two are clearly having a ding-dong battle of their own. With Tapis watching behind them. And he can do absolutely nothing about it. Where is Irving? Irving is right behind JSD actually. So Irving may have undercut into a potential P3 here, but he's got hards compared to JST's fresh medium, so I still don't think this strategy is worth it. Oh, wait, there's a move. There's a move for P3. What's happened here? Tom has passed Leo into the hairpin. So that's a very interesting overtaking spot. So maybe Tom has sent one finally down the inside of Leo because he couldn't pass him on the straight, but he's faster, probably with his setup on, in corners basically. Because if he doesn't have the straight line speed, he should be more slippery in the corners. As JSD passes Renzo, who hasn't pitted and also crashed with Tupters on the first lap of the race. Who's gonna pit? Doggy pits, Verdex pits, Tom pits, Leo pits. Top 4 have come in. They have reacted to JST. Will JST's undercut work? He set the purple sector 2. JST has gone purple in sector 2. This could shake things up here. Repente has also pitted. Leo has gone for the hearts. Wow.
Maybe he forgot to change it, but oh, JST's in front.
JST is in the lead. JST is in effective lead, and Irving is in P2. He does have that penalty, but he's undercut up into a net P2 position, and now he is the best friend of JST, because the furthest, the longest Irving can hold Doggy Falcons up, the better it is for JST to stretch the gap that he can, because on those fresh mediums, this is the best time for JST to do some lap time that he wanted. And Doggy Falcons, he needs not to be held up by Irving, who's on those hard tires. So, top 6 haven't pitted yet. They have stayed on the medium tires that they have started on. They will definitely pit for soft later on. Someone has spun. That is Shiz. He's spun coming out of Degner 2 and he's gone to P last. John now can do his own race here. This is a perfect case scenario for John. He was catching the front group, and Doggy Falcons has done it. He's gone around the outside of Irving. He's made the move stick. He's 1.6 seconds behind JST. Surely he's going to catch JST really fast there. Verdex is going to try to make the move on Irving as well, and he will very easily. Irving doesn't fight that one. Tom, meanwhile, has passed Swifty J into turn 1 as well. That's again mediums on hards. Leo has thrown this away, hasn't he? John has picked up a penalty, so he's not going to win this race, I don't think, with that penalty. But I don't understand Leo's hard strategy.
Yeah, it makes
if he wants to pit for hards, he should have pitted earlier.
Yes. JST
Yeah,
and are not the best positions to win this race.
Yeah, but Doggy Falcons is catching him corner after corner. But JST has traffic. JST has traffic. He's got Marvin in front of him. And Marvin, I believe, qualified P16 or somewhere near the bottom. And look at how much Doggy Falcons is gaining. He's gained DRS within 1 lap. He's closed the gap from 1.6 seconds to 8 tenths, 7 tenths. This is crucial now. JST needs to pass Marvin on the start-finish straight, and he needs Marvin to hold up Doggy Falcons. Doggy Falcons has gone purple in sector 2. This will be the fastest lap of the race so far, surely, from the Renault driver. He's into the final chicane. He's right there. He's only 7 tenths behind JST, who will make the move on Marvin now. Surely he's going to do it. Doggy Falcons sets a 128.930. JST is not fast enough. He's out of overtake. He's not past Marvin. He's dived down the inside of Marvin. He's spun. So he tried to dive on the inside of turn 2 on Marvin, but Marvin turned sick. And now Doggy Falcons is right behind the pair of them. And now Verdex has joined the fight. And Tom has spun! Tom has spun out! So net P4 is thrown away from the AlphaTauri driver. Doggy Falcons is wide through Degner 2. Will Verdex have a go into the hairpin? JST is trying to go around the outside of Marvin. Oh, he turns into Marvin. That's a bit of a taste of your own medicine, says JST. And Marvin drops all of the positions that he shouldn't really fight for initially anyways. He's out of the sequence. He's not pitted yet. And all these drivers are fighting for the win here. But he's technically not a slow car because he's not being lapped. And now Irving will pass Marvin on the back straight. And Irving is still in a net P4 here because of Leo's shocking strategy, who is alongside Swifty J incidentally. So Leo has gone down the inside of Swifty J and up into P11, or a net P5 basically for the McLaren driver. Doggy Falcons meanwhile has got a terrific exit coming out of the final corner. JST has no ERS. JST doesn't defend that one. he decided not to use the remaining 15% of overtake and letting Doggy Falcons go because he knows it's only a matter of time. Doggy Falcons is too fast and JST shouldn't fight that. So he did it, and he's dropped down to P7 in net P2. So we are back to what we had at the start of the race, with Doggy Falcons leading JST and Vertex in P3. So the top 5 haven't pitted. That's John, Crico, Brizzen, Tapis, and Protogol. They're all on the medium tires that they started this race on. And Doggy Falcons in P6 is the leader of the drivers that have pitted. Marvin also hasn't pitted. He's currently in P10. He's completely out of sequence compared to the drivers around him. Oh, Doggy Falcons gets caught on the inside curb of turn 13. He slid a little bit wider, but that's fine. Oh, JST though gets a swap of oversteer coming out to the spoon curb. But I think this is again, so the DRS train in this game, it's indestructible. If you are stuck in the train, you are stuck in the train. You need about 40 to 60 more percent of overtake compared to the drivers ahead to make a move, unless JST has something to say about Doggy Falcons. But he couldn't do it. He's too far back. He's gaining, but turn 1 comes. So he's had to back off again. Protogol, meanwhile, has left the session. So he was in the bottom group around P14. He's currently P5 because he hasn't pitted, but he's left the session for some reason. Maybe a disconnection from the McLaren driver. But he's definitely now out of contention for any points that he could have got with the alternative strategy. Oh, that's a penalty. I saw that on board. JST completely cut Degner 1. So that is a 3-second penalty for JST. And that relieves pressure from the shoulder of Doggy Falcons. And if nothing happens from here to the end of the race, I think Doggy Falcons will be crowned Season 1 champion of Tier 1 in Carbon Racing League. This is Season 1, right?
It's Season 1. But
okay.
It's like 1 point. Yes.
Oh yeah,
There.
definitely. Meanwhile, Protogol has rejoined the lobby. That's why the timing on the left-hand side tower is gone. And JST has gone wide again, coming out of Spoon Curb a moment ago. So that's probably another warning for the AlphaTauri driver. He's definitely getting impatient here, because Vertex is piling on the pressure. And Irving has caught up the group as well, as John pits from the lead. He was P7 or P8, I believe, before everyone pitted. I think he's jumped a lot of the drivers. Protogol has rejoined, so he is driving now again. John has come out in P10. That is a net P7. Actually, a net P6, because Protogol still has to pit. But John is seeing a lot, and I mean a lot of traffic on his outlap. This is not going to be good, because these soft tires, they're quick, but they're very quick in the first few laps, and he needs to get past Leo ASAP, but he got 2 McLarens, so Protogol, that's a really, really good move from Protogol, unlike Marvin beforehand, who decided to fight with these front runners. The Protogol has decided to let both Leo and John go. Will John send one into the hairpin? No. This is soft against hard.
Not really fair.
Not fair at all. Definitely. But he needs to pass Leo really fast. He's getting held up here. He's got to catch. But he needs to catch a 5-second gap to Irving in front of him. And John himself also has a penalty. So he really, really needs to pass Leo here. But he's not using his overtake. Leo is not either. So Leo is probably saying, John, just pass me before 130 yards. But John probably wants to get DRS on the main straight. So John has been held up by Leo for 1 complete lap. And this is the worst case scenario for John. He's now using overtake, so he's decided to wait. But he's lost a lot of time though during that lap. But he's passed, he's through, he's into P7. That will be a net P5 for the Mercedes driver, if we don't count the penalties, because we have to calculate penalties on our own. We would be dead. Too many penalties there to be calculated specifically. I
guess it will be hard for him to catch up with 4 seconds. But
yeah, but he should catch up by about 1 to 1.5 seconds. He's cut that corner completely. That surely is a warning, right? He's cut Techno 1, beg your pardon, so much. Well, in doing so, he's set the purple Sector 1, so he's gone fastest in Sector 1. Meanwhile, Doggy Falcons is on the back of the people that haven't pitted yet. Is Britain going to hold them up? Because Britain should be pitting at the end of this lap, and his mediums. Oh no, Doggy Falcons, because of dirty air, gets really oversteery. This could be JST's opportunity. This could be anyone's opportunities behind Doggy Falcons. But the Renault driver gets a terrific exit coming out of Spoon Curb. The Renault driver needs to be patient here, Doggy Falcons, because Britain should pit at the end of this lap. Soft can definitely go 10 laps. There's no point going for another lap on those old mediums for the Williams driver. Quico peels into the pits, Britain peels into the pits. So perfect case scenario for Doggy Falcons. He only got held up by half a lap, and he didn't lose any positions because of it. He's lost time, but time doesn't matter because this is a train. This is a really long train from P1 to P4. So John only caught up by about a second in the last lap. So soft to the medium delta may not be as much as I thought it would have been. But this is going to be a charge from P5. Maybe to the top step of the podium on track, but probably with that 3-second penalty, John is not going to win this race, no matter what happens. But credit to Irving, actually. He's on 10 leveled hard, and he's kept it in the train, basically, with the top 3. So really strong showing from the Alfa Romeo driver, who had a really early penalty. I think that was lap 5 or 6 that he had the 3-second penalty for track extending. But I don't think he's got one since then, as Portugal, I think, has spun at the back of the field. John, I think, is really going for it now. He's closed the gap to 2.3 seconds, so he's closing in by about a second a lap. It all depends on how fast he can make the move. As Portugal left the session again, this time he probably gives up because he just had a spin. So 9 laps to go. Doggy Falcons leads from JST, from Verdeck, who goes wide through turn 1, but he will get a decent exit because of the wider line as Marvin speeds in the pit lane and pick up a 5-second penalty. John is only 1.8 seconds behind them, but he's only having 33% overtake left. So even if he can catch up to the back of this train, to overtake any of them is going to be difficult because of the nature of the DRS train. And it can be really tough to overtake. That is what's happening with this game. That is what we have seen a lot also in esports, that it's really hard to overtake if everyone is just 5 tenths behind each other, especially on the track like Suzuka, where there's only one DRS zone around the whole 5.8 kilometer track. 18 corners, only one DRS zone. It's definitely not easy to overtake. John is trying to use some overtake, meanwhile, to get within a second of Irving, but I don't think he's going to get it. There's still the chicane to go, which he should be a lot faster compared to Irving's hard tire. And Verdex is trying to look for a move on JST. John has locked up, he's gone deep into the chicane. Does he get DRS? I don't think so. He's 1.1 second behind, so he's missed out on this lap. You can see he was very eager to try to close down the gap because he locked up very much into the chicane. He was pushing into the chicane trying to get DRS, but because of the push, it's gone wide through turn 2. That could also be a warning. So the Mercedes driver is getting more and more impatient. He's gonna get DRS at the start of the next lap, but how close can he be to the back of Irving, who actually is very close to the back of Verdex? Is Irving gonna make a move? No, he has 12% DRS. Verdex has 17%, JSD has 25%, and Doggy Falcons has 13%, and he also has the fuel icon actually. So Doggy Falcons is very close with his fuel numbers, but the look of things, I have no idea what that yellow icon means. I know when it's red, it means you're in trouble. The yellow might be fine for the race leader and also our championship leader, who will take the championship no matter what happens from now on to the end of the race. I don't think he's going to drop out of the points. with 7.5 laps to go. He's led the most of the way, apart from when the alternative strategy drivers were in the lead. JSD is yet again under massive pressure from Verdex into the chicane. It seems Verdex always gets a really good run coming out of the spoon curb and into the chicane. But John is now right on the back of Irving. He's using his overtake, but he's too far back. He only has 8% of overtake left as well, so he's fully in the train now. Can he decipher the train? Can he try to... Ooh, that's a shaky exit coming out of turn 2 from John. Can he try to pass someone, maybe into the hairpin, maybe into the spoon curb, maybe send one here, send one there? But don't forget, he's got Irving in front of him, who, because of John's crash, crashed out in qualify. So Irving is definitely going to defend his position from John. He's not going to be kind to the Mercedes driver, I don't think, even if he is on those very old hard tires now. Portugal, meanwhile, has disconnected again, so that's unfortunate for the McLaren driver. Was looking at a P13 potentially, and he thinks Verdex is going to win. So that prediction maybe is on the basis of JST sending one on Doggy Falcons. Because Repente spun, I think. Yep, Repente is dropping down positions. I'm not going to switch to his onboard. He's spun coming out of... Oh no, there's a huge train actually. They're going 3 wide into the chicane. But they're going around the outside of JSD into the chicane. And he got the inside of the second part of the chicane. Oh no, they're making... Oh no, my goodness, Irving CRT. What a move around the outside. They're going 3 wide down the straight. It's Verdex on the middle, in the middle. And JST, who doesn't have, actually, all of them have DRS, but Verdex going around the outside of JST. John has gone to the inside of Irving. This is all kicking off here. They're still going side by side, and the JST backs out of it. So Verdex moved up to P2, and in all of this chaos, John has dive-bombed Irving into turn 1, pushed the Alfa Romeo driver wide, so John has taken P4. I think a little bit of contact between the Mercedes and the Alfa Romeo again. I don't think Irving is going to be too happy in the chat again after this race. But that all kicked off really, really fast. Once again, I think Verdex is the best coming out of the spoon curb. So he's pressurized JSD into a move on to Doggy Falcons, basically. Because if JSD doesn't go for it, he's going to be passed by Verdex, which he actually did still get passed by Verdex in the end, going around the outside of turn 1. But that was some insane wheel-to-wheel racing from Doggy Falcons, Verdex, JSD, and John, and Irving, who is now at the back of this train. He definitely wants to retaliate onto John. Can Verdex get DRS, actually? He's on 0% overtake, so he's trying his best to keep within 1 second of Doggy Falcons. He's 9/10 away. He's got DRS. But he's 9/10 away, though. He's going to use a bit of overtake again. He's now 8/10 away. This DRS will pull him closer, and this train will continue. Irving, meanwhile, is looking at John, but he's on 9 lap older, hard tires. That's not really good for Irving. He's going to be there or thereabouts. Leo, meanwhile, his strategy has definitely cost him a potential top 5 finish. Actually, he can still be in the top 5. If he catches up a little bit, because he doesn't have a penalty yet. But if he pits for the mediums, I think he's going to be in this fight right now from the top 5. And Tom, unfortunately for him, he's also had a spin after the pit stop, so that's why he is down in P8. He also was in the lead group, kind of, before the pit stop phase, and I think Repente has spun again, so the Renault driver, one of the Renault, is leading the championship, is leading the race, and potentially taking the championship at the end of this race. But the other Renault is struggling here in Suzuka. Meanwhile, there's a fight for P10. So Kriko has moved past both, or has moved clear rather, of both Williams drivers. And Tappis, by virtue of undercut, has got ahead of Britain. So this is a fight for the final point paying position. Britain currently P10, actually, in the championship with 18 points. And Tappis, I don't think he's going to be P2 at the end of this race in the championship. Meanwhile, John is coming out of the chicane. He's got a good run here. JSD is under pressure. JST doesn't have the slipstream effect because he's 7/10 away from the driver ahead. Is John gonna send one into turn 1? He's out of overtake. He's not close enough. That's frustrating for John. JST goes wide into turn 2, but there's no way through in sector 1. So JST was 7/10 away from Vertex on the main straight, and you need to be within 6/10 to get the effect of slipstream. Otherwise, the effect is very much little as Britain goes around the outside of Tapis into turn 1. So a swap for the Williams drivers. I think Krico has 3 seconds worth of penalty. So if the two Williams work together, they could be both in the points. As Marvin retires from the session in the pits, so he's out of points and out of the race. We have 3.5 laps to go now. This is lap 24 of 27. The top 5 are still in the train, but JST has dropped out a little bit. He went wide in turn 2. Looks like he's not had the best middle sector either. He's trying his best to try to keep within 1 second, but he's 1 second away. And now Vertex is right on the back of Doggy Falcons. He's yet again had a terrific run in the final sectors. Doggy defends the middle line and then switches back to the racing line. This is going to help JST to get DRS. This is what John doesn't want to see, because JST will have DRS again. And Doggy Falcons gets a terrific exit coming out of the final corner. So I don't think Vertex is going to be close enough. He's looking down the inside. But that was just a look. But John, actually, he's done it. He's going around the outside of JST to turn 1. So John has moved himself up into a effective P3 positions because both him, JST, and Irving have penalties. So John could still win this on track, but there's no way he's going to take anything more than a P3 in this race at the redoubt section, basically, because of the penalties. But John is closing in. Oh, JST has another penalty, I think, and Irving is really close to the back of him. So I think JST has pitted too early. Irving is going to send one into the hairpin. He's really sent one into the hairpin. They're making side pod contact. Vertex gets shaky out of the hairpin. Oh, they're making contact again between Irving and JST. JST is blocking the middle line, blocking the track, and Irving doesn't have overtake to try to leapfrog from the AlphaTauri driver. JST goes deep into Spoon, but he's got a good exit. He's understeered wide a little bit. That's 4 wheels off the track again, but he just got the penalty, so this will be his first warning of potentially his 3rd penalty at the end of the race. But we are about to go on to lap 26 of 27, onto the penultimate lap. After the final 3 corners, Vertex, meanwhile, is trying to use a different line to try to get a better exit compared to Doggy Falcons. I think he's got one, but he's 3.5 tenths behind still. I don't think he's close enough again. John, meanwhile, doesn't get a good exit, so he's not close enough either. Oh, turn 1 is coming. So Vertex has to stay behind. Irving also has to stay behind JST. And this is helping Leo, because if the race ends... Oh, John has lost it. John has had a massive error in first sector. So John has had a massive error, and this is helping Leo. So if the race finishes here, now Leo will be P3. So this hard strategy has cost him, but maybe not as much, because he's had the opportunity to do this race, the second half of the race, basically all by himself. That's why he's not picked up a penalty. So he's kept it clean, and Irving is using all of his overtake through the hairpin. He's dived down the inside again of JST. This time he's ahead. This time he's made the move stick. But he's got a terrible exit because he was on the inside line. JST is trying to go back down the inside of turn 12. He's now using all of his overtake to try to retake P4 away from Irving, and he does so. A terrific fight for P4, which will be P5, because Leo is only 1.3 seconds behind the pair of them now. John is not going to get DRS. I don't think it matters, because the best he's going to finish is a P3, but he's only 2.5 seconds. Actually, no, Vertex is right alongside Doggy Falcons. They're bank side pods. They're trying to go side by side into the chicane. Vertex is pushing the issue. How's the exit? The exit is not great. The exit is not great at all, but this is the closest he's ever been. He's 2.7 tenths behind Doggy Falcons. He's gaining. He's going to go around the outside of Doggy Falcons. Doggy keeps the inside line and keeps his position. What a great defensive drive from Doggy Falcons. And he's fine in the first sector. Surely Vertex can't pass him in these corners. Protocol's AI is there. Actually, that's the ghost car. That's going to affect the driver's rhythm a little bit because of the ghost car. and Tapis retakes P10 from Blizzard. They're both outside Kriko's penalty range now, so Tapis will take the final point paying position if Blizzard doesn't make a move back at Tapis. Any point is crucial for Tapis now, as Verdex is very close to back of Doggy Falcons into the hairpin. Both of them on the same lap old medium tires, but Verdex is gaining again. Both of them on no overtake left. One is on 9%, the other is on 6%. Can Verdex yet again get a better exit coming out of Spoon? He's understeer wide, he's oversteered, and that is a terrible exit. Surely now, Doggy Falcons is going to take this race victory. Verdex tried it. He really tried it, but it wasn't enough. And that's why Doggy Falcons is our championship leader. And Verdex is not close enough into the chicane. Irving and JSD meanwhile going side by side on top of the chicane. But congratulations Doggy Falcons, who takes victory in Suzuka and takes the championship of Season 1 in Tier 1 of the Carbon Racing League. What a defensive drive. Yeah.
The last 10 laps was just incredible.
Yeah, the top 5 fought all the way, and look at where JSD ended up. P8 after 6 seconds of penalty. I think he crossed the line in either P4 or P5, but the penalties is really gonna hurt for JSD. Meanwhile, Tapis does take the final point, so he will be on 66 points. Tom takes P6, so he will also be on 66 points. And Verdex will be on 68 points because he gets P2. So I think, by my calculation, Verdex was P6 going into this race, will be P2 in the championship at the end of this race. That's how close the P2 fight in the championship is. And I think the gap is only going to be 12, actually no, it's going to be 19 points from P2 to P8 going into the final 2 races of the season. But Doggy Falcons have secured the championship after a storming, an excellent drive from the Renault driver.
It was really intense. Yeah, that's...
There were a lot of moves. Most of them were really good wheel-to-wheel racing. A few of them may be complaints at the end of the race, but we've seen some extraordinary battles between some of the best drivers in this league. But yet again, Doggy Falcons has come out on top. This is his 5th victory of the season. I think he's only done 6 races because he didn't do the first 2 races. He's won 5 out of the 6. So, at the end of 27 laps, Doggy Falcons take yet another victory ahead of Verdex, only 2 tenths between the pair of them. Leo, by virtue of not getting a penalty, will take P3 after his, quite weird, late, hard pit stop strategy. John recovers from P15 to P4, same with Irving. Both of them had really good pace. After that clash in qualifying, they would have started way higher than P14 and P15. Tom will finish in P6 ahead of Sweetie J, JSD, and Kriko. Tapis only gets 1 point in Suzuka, so maybe this is not his strongest track on the calendar. Brisbane takes P11 ahead of Renzo, both of them missing out on points by less than 1 second in the end. That was unfortunate for both of them. With Rapante shares Protocol, Marvin, Kimbler, Tuptus, the rest of the field.
Yeah. So, do you have anything to say last? So then I will end the stream.
Well, this has been fun. This has been a really good Suzuka race. By the standard of Suzuka, a track that overtaking is really hard. This is some really high quality racing. And Tapis and Tom won't be equal in P2. They will be equal in P3 because Verdex, after getting 18 points, will be we'll have 68 points in P2, I think. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. And we might see you. I might see you next week because I don't know what I'm going to be doing next Saturday.
See ya.
Yep. Good night.